Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. And today I want to talk about the woke military and the military going woke and how it can have a disastrous consequence when we're facing enemies like Russia, China, and Iran and terrorist organizations like ISIS and Al Qaeda. But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love World so much, please consider donating a cup of coffee. Because for the price of a cup of coffee, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories and more topics to talk about. Also, guys, I do accept Bitcoin donations. I'm also on Patreon if you guys want to sponsor this podcast show. All right, guys. And if you guys love Nikki's World so much, please hit that like, subscribe. Please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. And before we really get the show on the road, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today. Woo! Okay, guys. You know, it's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time to podcast another show. Yep, I got a lot to talk about today. And today I want to talk about the military going woke. Okay? As you know right now, the United States military has gone completely woke. It has gone completely become the arm of the Democrat Party, okay? Which means it's like this. They've gone from being a military who is to fight wars, defeat terrorism, and fight on the enemy's soil instead of here in America. We have a military that has gone completely woke and completely SJW, okay? It just seems like this. The military, in my opinion, should be all about fighting wars and making sure the fight does not come to America's doorstep. Plain and simple. It shouldn't be about social engineering, diversity, inclusion, or basically trying to lower standards so you know who can join. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about defending the nation. It should be about the best, the brightest, and the fittest defending the nation. It shouldn't be about inclusion, diversity, and all this shit. But the problem is the military's gone woke. And recently, Tucker Carlson talked about it on his show and has highlighted how the military going woke by mandating diversity training or mandating critical race theory or anti-race training. It's like, how is that helping the country win wars, win battles, and keeping the enemy off our shores? How is it helping us? A lot of people on the left think that like this also. They think that, oh yeah, we should allow transgender people in the military. Okay, how is it going to help win wars? How is it going to help keep the enemy from coming to our doorstep? How? The left can't explain it. The left wants the military to be the social inclusion thing. Like everybody should join. No. The military is not a social experiment. In my opinion, you don't get to join the military, okay? Not a lot of people are fit for it. And that's what the left needs to understand. What they have a problem with is that they think that, everybody should join, okay? So if you think transgender people should join the military, how about diabetics? How about schizophrenics? How about people with bipolar disorders? Okay? How about people with intersex conditions? The thing is, the military going woke right now in the face of growing China and Russia, both of those countries are laughing at us and literally eating our lunch and laughing all the way to the damn bank. The problem is like this. Too many people in this country don't seem to understand the military is there for a reason, okay? plain and simple. It's not to be a social experiment. It's not that, like, oh, we need to lower standards so we can include more women. It's not that. It's for the best and brightest and the fittest who are capable and strong enough to defend the nation. I'll give you an example. U.S. Army Ranger School. They had women that go through it. They didn't lower standards. They said to the women, as long as you're meeting standards that we set forth at Ranger School and you can pass the class, we got no problem you going to the school and graduating and being certified as a U.S. Army Ranger. Now the left would complain and have a hissy fit saying, oh, well, there's not enough women going through this. You should lower standards so women can go through it. No, if you lower standards, then you know what happens? We get disasters like we did in Vietnam. So that's why I like this. Standards are there for a reason. Not only health, safety, physical standards, and mental standards for the job. Something the left never understands. The left, in my opinion, guys, is that like this. They want to include everyone and lower standards. Lowering standards lowers readiness, in which readiness is a key component in making sure our country is able to respond to, say, like another 9/11 attack. That's why, guys, is like this. The military going woke is going to be a disaster when we have to face China in a coming war. Mark my words. Mark my words. The military going woke is going to be a huge disaster if we ever have to face China in a war. And right now, China is building the largest military in the world. There are military and defense analysis around the world that are saying that in 10 or 15 years, China is going to surpass the United States military as being the dominant superpower. So I want to ask everyone this question. Do you think the military going woke is a hot idea when you have a growing Chinese military? I bet the left are saying, oh no, China's not a problem. But then the problem is, China's making inroads around the country. And China's making inroads around the world. China is literally eating our lunch. And in about an hour, when they're hungry again, they're going to want more. So that's why it's like this, guys. That's why I go like this. Being woke in the military is going to be a disaster. When we have to face an enemy like China, bullets don't care if you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, bi, trans, or whatever. A bullet doesn't ask for those things, and it doesn't care. This is something leftists don't understand, okay? When you're fighting an enemy, the enemy doesn't ask about your pronouns, your gender, your race, or whatever. Doesn't care. And that's something leftists need to understand. And they need to really see this. Because going woke is going to be a disaster, okay? When you need strong men, strong leadership men and women. I don't discriminate on this podcast. You need strong men and strong women who can stand up to the enemy instead of caving to all this social justice warrior crap. And this is why, guys, this is why the left is trying to destroy the military from within. Okay? The left is trying to weaken the military so much that we're never going to be in a position to win wars. we're never going to be in a position to fight terrorism. We're never. Because the left has infected the military and has basically gone SJW and woke. Pretty much. And yes, I am all for like diversity inclusion, but not the way the leftists want it. Okay? The problem is the leftist idea of diversity inclusion is that they want to lower standards for everyone. How is lowering standards going to help everyone? It isn't. It ain't going to help when we're going to fight China in the coming decades or the coming millenniums. So, how is going woke going to help the military win wars, win the hearts and minds, and basically keep the enemy from landing in our doorstep? How is it? The left hasn't explained that to me. Because you know why? The left is concentrating on basically trying to destroy the military from within. To destroy the military, which was the last bastion of democracy, of freedom. Now that the left has infected the Department of Defense and all the branches of the military, it just seems like basically the military has become neutered. It's become like the militaries of Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the UK, who are probably in no fighting position to go after terrorists. The only military who I see probably most likely could stand a good fight against terrorists is probably Russia, you know? And Russia, they don't give a crap about gender identity, social justice, warrior shit, and all this PC political politics. All they care about is making sure terrorists don't come to their doorstep. Plain and simple. But the U.S. military going woke, I foresee a disaster in the near future. I foresee the biggest disaster this country will ever see, okay? I foresee huge problems. And in my opinion, guys, going woke in the military is not a good idea when you have China looming in the back corner there. Many of these leftists don't realize that China is eating our damn lunch. Okay? Their military is geopolitically taking advantage of our weakness because the left has weakened the military. They've weakened it so much that we're going to be like the Desert Shield and Desert Storm back in the 90s, because what happened was, and this is the history, I'm going to talk about this to the left. After the Vietnam War, our military got so demoralized that people didn't want to join anymore. People said, no, I don't want to go in the military because shit. Why would I want to do this and this and this and this and this and this and this? Okay? So like this, our military got so broken, so weakened that when Desert Storm and Desert Shield hit, everybody around the world thought that the U.S. military wasn't going to be able to survive because after what happened in Vietnam, our military was probably not ready for it. Surprisingly, we came back and showed the world that the U.S. military could survive it. So now we're in the same position that we once were. Now the military has gone woke so much that the biggest worry is that how are we going to survive in a coming war with China? How is a woke military going to survive? The Chinese aren't going to care if you're white, black, Hispanic, or gay, straight, bi, or trans. The Chinese aren't going to care about that. Chinese, all they're going to see is just an enemy that they need to wipe out. Plain and simple. The problem is with the left. The left thinks that, oh, everybody's going to see this and this and this and this and this. Okay, when another World War II style hits, what do you think the enemy is going to see? The enemy is just going to see another body that they need to get rid of. So, the left, in my opinion, it's like, they simply do not like the military. The military has been the bastion of Republican and conservatism, okay? But ever since the left has infected the military, it's like conservatism, republicanism have disappeared, have like faded into the history books. And the sad thing is, we need the military as it is right now. Because we need the military that can potentially fend off an attack from China. And the reason for that is, guys, there was an article a long time ago that the U.S. Air Force secretly did a war games exercise with China. And the sad part is, those war games showed that we got our asses handed to the Chinese. Now think about this. If this war game exercise that the U.S. Air Force did turned out to be real, and we're in the midst of this political, social, and cultural change in this country, and we're going to face the Chinese in the war, if that Air Force exercise is any indication to y'all, it's going to say, hey, look, we're going to lose royally. We're going to have our asses handed to the Chinese on a damn silver plate. Now you got to think, why did this war games show us this? It's showing us is because, look, we can't go woke. We can't go politically correct or SJW. Because in Murphy's Law, and your enemies get a vote too. Your enemies get a say too. So, this is why, guys. Political correctness is a detrimental to the military. It harms the military so much. It basically destroys the military. Before we even set foot on enemy soil, before the first bullets have been fired. We basically, guys, the U.S. military is right now in no position to go to war with China. Because if you look at the current trend of going woke, going SJW, going politically correct, I'm sorry to say this, guys. That the left is basically going to create a disaster in the military. They're going to create the biggest disaster since World War II. And in my opinion, guys, going woke is going to cause a disaster. It's going to make it impossible to fight an enemy. In the many ways going woke is going to be a disaster for the military, look at recruiting and retention. Do you think right now people want to join the military knowing they have to go through this like woke crap, this PC crap, this like cultural sensitivity or anti-racial crap? You think they signed up for that? No, they didn't. They signed up to fight battles, win wars. They signed up for the fact that they wanted a job. They want money for college. They want basically to get an education. Instead, right now, you have the left infecting the military with their woke culture, their anti-race crap, or their critical race theory crap. It's not going to win wars. And if any leftists think that it is, I'd like you to go test that in Afghanistan and let me know how that turns out. Okay? Let me know how that turns out. Because right now, guys, right now it's like this. There are probably a lot of people in the military right now who are probably looking at wanting to get out because of all this woke culture, cancel culture, PC culture, this critical race theory crap, and this anti-race training crap. People are probably going to want to flee because you know why? They don't want to deal with this stuff. All they want to deal is preparing for wars, winning battles, and making sure the terrorists don't land on our soils. Simple enough, guys. This is why I'm one of those who believe that like woke culture is a detriment to this country and a detrimental to the military. Woke culture does not have a place in the military, and it should never have in the first place. The reason for this, guys, and the reason for this is that woke culture is a danger to the military. It's like nuclear, chemical, biological threat to this country. The reason for that, guys, if we go to a war with a country, the enemy don't care about who you are, what you are, and all that. They're gonna want you wiped out, and the population included. That's why, guys. That's why I believe that people who think that the military should go woke should not be allowed to serve. The reason for that is that they're going to be a liability when the bullets start flying. Okay? Now, when the bullets start flying, do you think the enemy or the bullets are going to question the other person's race, sex, gender identity, or sexual orientation? No, because the bullet don't care. And the enemy doesn't either. So what makes you think that if we ever go to war with China, do you think the Chinese are going to be concerned about our race, our sex, our gender identity, or sexual orientation? No. Same thing with the Russians. They're not going to be concerned with it. I'll give you another example. The U.S. military also is going feminized, while the Chinese military is masculinized. Same thing in the Russians. Russians are doing the same thing. They're masculinizing the military, while the U.S. military is like feminizing and weakening. I don't like the fact that like the military is all too concerned like about pregnant women in flight suits. If you're pregnant and you're flying, I would be questioning the OBGYN doctor and asking, why did you let that pregnant female pilot fly? I would be questioning that. I'd be like, sit down. I have a few questions I want to ask. I would. And then at the same time, you have like generals and military units saying, hey, our women can do this. You know, I go like this. Yeah, but you lowered standards so they could say they do this. That's why it's like this. Militaries around the world maintain standards, but they don't go woke because you know why? They know that when war hits, you got to have standards. If you don't have standards, it's like it's a coming disaster. It really is, guys. In my opinion, guys, I believe going woke, SJW, political correct, is the quickest way to kill a military. It's the quickest way to destroy a military without ever firing a shot at it. And the reason for that, guys, is that it destroys morale. It destroys unit cohesion. It destroys standards. All right? That's why the military has standards. That's why, for example, to be a fighter pilot, you have to have a certain level of like eyes. You have to have either a 20/20 vision or like anything above it. Same thing like with special forces. You have to be physically fit, mentally tough, and morally strong. Because the reason for that is they don't want people embarrassing the United States on the 6 o'clock news on the world stage. They want guys who can get the job done and not be a jackass and not be an embarrassment to the country. Okay? And also, guys, there are some jobs in the military that you have to have high standards. You have to have high standards to do the job. Like say, for example, to be a nuclear reactor operator on a submarine or on an aircraft carrier. The standards are set very high for a particular reason. We don't want to have accidents on nuclear reactors. And it's why we have high standards for that. It's plain and simple, guys. Wokeness means weakness. And going woke in the military means going weak in the military. It is showing weakness in the face of our potential enemies. And our potential enemies are watching us. Like China, Russia, and Iran. They're watching our weakness. They're watching the left destroy the military from within. And all of them are sitting back going like this. Why would I want to go to war with these guys? Why would I? I don't want to waste a bullet on these guys because they're already destroying themselves from within. Why would I need to do it? So this is why, guys. Before I go for today, guys, I just want to say this, guys, is that woke military is going to be a disaster for this country, and it's going to be a detrimental to military readiness, unit morale, recruiting, and retention. The military is being destroyed by wokeness, and it's going to take 2 administrations to repair the damage that is being done right now. Okay? So I thank y'all for listening to Nikki's World. I will see y'all soon. Bye for now.